So I'm going to be honest with you. Today's squash and vegetable casserole recipe was actually born out of a disaster. If you've been watching my channel, you know I've been kind of doing a series on key lime pie and Ritz cracker crust desserts. And in my last video I said I wanted to do an orange version. Well, I did, and what I learned is that you should not do that. This is what happened. What the problem is that even with the original key lime pie recipe, if you saw that video and you remember the history of the pie, originally it was not baked. The acidity from the lemon juice, the lime juice set the pie and cooked the eggs, kind of like what happens with ceviche. Yeah, orange juice won't do that because it's not acidic enough. So what happened is that I left it in for the same amount of time. I did the exact same recipe but with orange, and it was not done at 25 minutes, so I kept baking it, and yeah, it kind of burned around the side, and the filling has this kind of weird spongy texture. I don't know if you can see. It did not work out. This is a kitchen fail. So I said I have to come up with a different video. And I said, you know what, why don't I do a squash casserole? And even though squash casserole is a very southern thing, it's more of a summer thing, but it is kind of an end of summer thing, so I was like, I will just go with that. I think I'm going to do more fall recipes. I have fall recipes already recorded. I will be doing series. I'm going to do maybe an apple series, maybe a series of Thanksgiving pies. Actually, that I'm completely sure of. There will be a series on Thanksgiving pies, so I think this is a good transition recipe. And I've been doing a lot of desserts, so I think maybe this is the universe's way of telling me, Parnell, you have had enough sugar. So this is what we're doing. As you can see, I have more than just yellow squash. I have 650 grams of yellow squash and zucchini, more squash than zucchini, but about the same. And then about 150 grams of red onion and a little over 100 grams of red bell pepper. I microwaved the squash and zucchini on high for 10 minutes and the red bell pepper and the red onion for 5 minutes. You want it to be soft but not too soft. There's my oven. And I also made sure that this was well drained. I'm going to put that in. I grated 100 grams of a medium carrot on a cheese grater. I have half of an 8-ounce block of extra sharp cheddar cheese left over from my tomato pie last night, which was amazing. The video is already up. It was one of my first videos, and I just had to redo it because it's fantastic. Pretty much all squash casserole recipes have some sort of crackers to absorb the moisture. So I'm doing the Ritz or other butter flavored crackers. I have one sleeve that is I pounded with a rolling pin, and then I have another sleeve that's whole. I think what I'm envisioning for this squash casserole is a contrast of textures. So I think having some cracker crumbs and some whole or almost whole crackers will be nice. I'm also going to include half a teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. And I made some homemade mayo last night for my tomato pie because the mayo that I had was long past the expiration date. One day I'll do a video on making homemade mayo. I do want this to be relatively healthy, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the mayo, but I think a little bit of tang will be nice. So I'm just going to put down some vegetables. I'm going to do half, and I'm going to do half of the carrots, and I'm going to do let's say half of the cracker crumbs. That definitely was not enough vegetables. I don't know if you can hear the microwave, but I'm microwaving more of everything. To be on the safe side, at the grocery store, I would buy 2 pounds of whole zucchini, 2 pounds of yellow squash, just under a pound of red onion, and about 2/3 or 3/4 of a pound of red bell pepper. What you can see is that summer squash, the yellow squash and zucchini, they really shrink down when you cook them. So now I'm going to I added some of the cracker crumbs. Now I'm going to add just a few larger crackers. So like I said, I think it'll be a good mix of textures. I'm going to add some of my cheese now. Like I said, I have half of a block, 4 ounces. So why don't I just do half? That makes sense. Almost half. Cheese now. Summer squash casserole, I think, and my spices is kind of intimidating. I've made it once before, and to be honest, I really didn't like it. I thought it was kind of bland, so I've been meaning to get around to making it again. I think most recipes call for a ton of cheese and butter, but in my opinion, I mean, mac and cheese is very fattening, I understand that, but if something has a ton of vegetables, do you really want it to be fattening? Probably not. Especially if you're like me and you eat a ton of pies and cakes. So like I said, here is my mayo, my homemade mayo. I'm just gonna put a little bit in, maybe 2 tablespoons total. I'm not gonna mix it in. I think it's going to melt in, honestly, in the oven. I finished microwaving some extra vegetables. Yes, they're still steaming, but I just want to get this done. I'm not going to tell you what time it is. You know what time it is. So like I said, first layer of vegetables is in, cracker crumbs, larger cracker pieces, carrots, a little bit of cheese, and 1.5 tablespoons of homemade mayo. I'm just going to put in some more vegetables on top like this. This reminds me of Argentine puchero. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's an Argentine chicken and vegetable stew. It's very beautiful with all the different colors, all the different vegetables. I did it back in January, I think, or February, something like that. Okay, maybe we don't need all these vegetables. Need some, but not all of them. So I think I was right in making some extra vegetables, but maybe it won't be quite as many as I had anticipated. I'm doing here, so just accommodating everything. The extra vegetables I will eat on their own. Don't want to overcrowd it too much. Put in soft zucchini there. Okay, a little bit of the shredded carrot. I got the carrot and purple onion idea from Phyllis Stokes. She has a YouTube channel. She does a lot of southern cooking. She has good recipes. Down there. She has carrots and red onion in her version. Now Now for some more cracker crumbs. Actually, you might not need to use all of these. We'll see. Crackers. Just gonna sprinkle on top like that. Some of them I'm gonna jam down in there. Honestly, I think I probably could have put more crackers on the bottom layer, but that's okay. Spices. Maybe I'll put the cheese on last. Another tablespoon and a half of mayo. Rest of the cheese, probably 2/3 of it. Now this is going to go into a 375-degree oven. I'm not sure exactly for how long. I'm guessing probably 30 minutes or so. But I will definitely let you know how long this takes. My healthy squash casserole is now done. It was in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes, and it's now been out of the oven for about 25 minutes. I could wait to let it cool off a little bit longer, but I'm not going to because, as you probably know, if you watch my videos, it is late and I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna serve up a piece that is this big. I smell all the vegetables. I smell the cheese. I even smell the tanginess of the homemade mayo. So I think this is gonna be good. Trying to cut this nicely. Even though squash casserole, I don't think it's meant to be super fancy. I do like to cut my stuff nicely though. There we go. That actually held together pretty nicely. I'm impressed. So there it is. Like I said, I can smell everything. I can smell the garlic powder, the onion powder, the mayo, the cheese, crackers, everything. I can't wait to try this healthy squash casserole. Like I said, it's late, and to be honest, I don't feel like going through all the quilombo of doing my normal up-close shot, so I'm going to try this on camera. Like I said, you can see everything, you can smell everything. Very delicious. Definitely good. Like the other squash casserole recipes, if you want it to be really good, I think you need to add cheese. A lot more, probably a full block. But I think amount of crackers is fine. You could get away with one sleeve, about 100 grams. But if you wanted to, maybe plan on making one sleeve into crumbs and using half of another or so for the larger bits. The mayo, the tanginess is definitely good. You could just use more of it, but if you use more of it, then it won't be healthy. So, but the addition of the other vegetables does make up for that. So just giving you a close-up, everything in there. My verdict, it is good. It's a healthy version. If you want a really good version that I think is a ton of calories, use a full block of cheese and use probably 1/4 cup to 1/3 of a cup of mayo. So thanks for watching.